Susan Finley here at Train Smarter. Let's talk about MRIs and what those results can mean. Sometimes people get injured, they feel pain, they wake up in the morning and their back hurts and they go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, let's order an MRI. And I know a lot of times you're just really curious about what's going on. And that MRI will come back and show a bulging disc or a tear in the rotator cuff. And people very often then kind of freak out because of the test results. So let's look at some numbers and put that in perspective. When they have MRI'd the shoulders of people at a variety of different ages, so let's say within different decades, they found that 13% of people between the ages of 50 and 59, 20% of people between the ages of 60 and 69, 31% of people between the ages of 70 and 79, and 51% of people over 80 on the MRI have a rotator cuff tear. Now, that doesn't mean that they have shoulder pain. That just means they're walking around with a tear in one of their rotator muscles, not in the muscles, but in the tendon typically. So you can see that with those statistics, chances are as you get older, you are likely to have some sort of tear in your rotator, but it doesn't necessarily mean pain, and it surely doesn't necessarily mean surgery. The MRIs will look the same from one shoulder to the next, and yet maybe one shoulder hurts and one doesn't. What you can see is when it comes to shoulder issues, the greatest risk is getting older, but I think when it comes to that, and this is my theory based on all the people I see, the strain and stress on that rotator cuff comes from the posture that people kind of fall into as they get older. Once your shoulders are rounded forward and you start using them from that position, you put the rotator cuff at a lot of risk. Same kind of thing can be said with knees. They've done all kinds of studies and they find out that there can be a symptomatic knee and a non-symptomatic knee, and the MRI test looks exactly the same. In fact, when they MRI'd a group of people, they found that 36% had full thickness cartilage tears in their knee, but only half of those people, less than half, 14%, had any symptoms. So don't freak out about your MRI results. That doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily need surgery. Very often those kinds of things are fixable with the right kind of exercise and the right approach to those injuries. So I always think of my client who came in on a Monday and said, I have surgery scheduled for Wednesday. Can you fix my shoulder? And we got busy, and sure enough, we were able to get him not only pain-free, but we got him back to playing tennis competitively. And that was a huge success for somebody who was trying to avoid surgery. Same kind of thing I've had with another client who was told by 3 different doctors that he needed shoulder surgery based on what the MRI showed. He has so far not had surgery, has no pain, is functioning just great now because we did the right kind of exercises. So often you can manage a rotator cuff tear by just balancing the strength of the muscles around the shoulder. And the muscles that are functioning well with intact tendons can take up the slack for the side that's injured until it heals. And when it comes to backs, I hear all the time, I've got a bulging disc. When was it diagnosed? 6-7 years ago. Well, did you know that most people walking around either have or have had a bulging disc? Those kinds of things are noticeable, detectable when the disc bulges into a nerve and you feel it, but otherwise you could have a bulging disc and not know it at all, and you certainly can have a bulging disc that resolves if you start exercising and doing the things it takes to take the pressure off your back. Obviously, this is a subject I love talking about. If you have any issues with joint pain, with muscle pain, with wondering about whether there's a way to address something short of surgery, I'd love to talk to you about it. Reach out to me at Susan@WeTrainSmarter.com.